I asked you, my poker audience, who is your favorite poker content creator, and you told me it was Cory. So I reached out to him, and we're arranging a little deal where there's some collaboration happening. But I'm going to be turning this little Dust Bowl content creator,
hey, what's going on,
into a goddamn high stakes MTT crusher, and we're going to be documenting the entire way.
First hand, ace king offsuit, Barry the Builder defends the big blinds. You're 100 big blinds deep. Classic situation against Barry the Builder. First hand of the tournament. First of all, do you have an idea of how big you would open there?
I like that a lot. Yeah. Okay, I like that so much because the more that I've been kind of taught theory, it's always just 1/3, always 1/2 pot, and I'd probably just range betting this board texture.
Terrible answer, but I love it because there's so much to fix.
Enjoy this first snippet of the first episode. The entire series is going to be live on eliteuniversity.com.
So this is going to be the beginning of some level of indescript course of how to turn Cory, who I only recently came across like a week ago, into an absolute crusher. Now,
that's the goal.
He is somehow already a YouTube content crusher. I don't know how you did it. First question before we get into poker, I'm curious. Do you have any background of like fucking acting or comedy or public speaking? And like, what the fuck's going on there? How did you turn into you?
I mean, when I was 5 years old, my dad would have friends over and I would walk around the house half naked, just putting on a show. I'd be like, what's good? And I was the center of attention. I could never get enough as a kid. And so I think that's what they call narcissism. And so it works really good.
Yeah, I think if you look in the DSM-5, that's the definition. 5-year-old naked running around. Yeah.
Literally, yeah.
All right, fantastic.
Just that. No, I was just, I don't know.
How you so funny? I don't get it. What happened, dude? Who bullied you as a kid?
Yeah, I think just getting bullied through grade school. I don't know. They Northeastern Neanderthals are built different, dude. We discovered sunlight like 3 years ago.
Congratulations.
And when the baseline is sunlight, then everything like the sky's the moon, dude.
The sky's the moon. Right, dude. Let's turn you into a crunch. So I've watched a bunch of the content. You are really an interesting player. Like whenever I'm watching poker content, which is it's a compliment-ish.
Okay. Yeah,
his
interesting in a bad way. It could be like, yeah, this guy has absolutely no clue what the fuck's going on.
I mean, I wouldn't say you don't. No, here's the thing. Your intuition's sick. Your intuition for the game is amazing. It's very clear that there are a few, like, it seems like you've either not studied enough or you've studied too many different ways of playing poker, and it's just gotten a little bit messy. I can't tell which.
That's fair.
Yeah. Have you looked into like different courses or training websites or?
Yeah, I've done a little bit of I'd say theory-based stuff, and also my friend has also helped me with cash game exploit. Just a little bit of both worlds. I think I'm more interested in playing the player. That's kind of how I learned most of my stuff, but I guess in terms of courses, the only thing really is Jonathan Little and my friend. I don't really listen to too many people when it comes to poker. So the fact that I obviously value your opinion, or I wouldn't be here. But
good, blank slate as much as possible is fantastic. Like that. The problem is that so many of the courses nowadays, you get thousands of people taking them, and you don't see that many people succeeding. And there's a reason for that.
Right.
And the reason is that most people suck at teaching poker.
Yeah.
And I've come across, and we'll get into this, I've come across thousands of people that I've coached that whenever I talk to them about a hand, they will give me this whole array of complete nonsensical bullshit when it's just like a really simple spot. And the reason is that they've learned all of these like high level concepts that are meant to be applied at like the fine-tunest fucking top echelons of the poker world, and they're trying to use it at 1-1 versus Barry the Builder, and Barry doesn't even know what balance means, so what the fuck are you balancing against?
Right. fucking Steve from State Farm literally is playing on his weekends. He doesn't know what theory is.
Yeah. So there's
He just
no
has
point
ace king,
protecting your range.
Yeah.
Yeah. He likes hitting another card that's with his card that's on the flop with it. Yeah, he loves that feeling. So
Right. Like when the board matches his cards, he just goes with it.
Yeah. It feels
Right.
like dopamine. Yeah. So here's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna pretend at first that you're playing against Barry the Builder, and I'm gonna give you a couple of hands.
All right.
We'll get down to post flop first, and then we'll at the end of the things talking about some preview, just so we can navigate what the thought process.
Fun. All right, let's do it.
Meant to look like. So here's the thing. You're playing in, was it Cherokee?
Yeah.
All right. You open cut off first hand, ace king offsuit. Barry the Builder defends the big blinds. You're 100 big blinds deep. Classic situation against Barry the Builder. First hand of the tournament. First of all, do you have an idea of how big you would open there?
Would you recommend is it always opening? The deeper you are, is it the larger the open, or are you always opening like 2.1x?
Here's a secret. When I used to play the 100K tournaments, I would change my opening size based on my hand. Nobody ever fucking knew, because nobody ever sees the showdowns and notices these things. So when I have aces, I go maybe 2.5x. When I have ace king, I might go like 3x. When there's a guy in the big blind that I think is just going to call 5x open, if I have queens, I'll go 5x, whatever it is.
Okay, wow. So you could really just kind of maximize your value off like pre-flop. So say you have like jacks in a cutoff, and you could open 4x if they call. Just figure out what they're willing to call.
Yeah, exactly. And you could do the same on live cash as well. Like some tables you open 20x because there's a guy that's never folding anything. Some tables you open 2.5x because everyone's kind of good. So same with tournaments.
Not the case.
Yeah, exactly.
Really just not the case.
Yeah, exactly. So same with tournaments. If I have ace king there and I think the guy is kind of loose passive, I might just open 4x. You can even open 5x and be like, oh fuck, misclick, whatever.
Okay, wow, yeah.
So here's what the lesson is going to be centered around. Any predispositions you have about how to play poker, it's generally going to be on it hit. Creativity is king as long as it's intelligent and rational.
I like that. I really like that statement. I love that. Offer it. I really, really like that.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Right, so let's say fucking 3.5x. We just feel like ace king.
And now
build a slide.
Hold on. Yeah. Sorry to interject. Actually, okay. Let's just get on with this hand, and then I'll ask questions.
You ask. You do.
Okay, I was going to ask how much does stack size come into play when determining our opening size here? Say we have 30 big blinds rather than 100, or 25 rather than 100.
A lot. There's so much nuance to this that if you want to be like one of the best players in the world, you really need to understand it a lot. But we'll get to that once we've kind of like isolated to what a thought process is meant to look like. Then we'll get to some fucking nitty gritty stacks.
All right, perfect. Okay.
So Barry the Builder's defending the big blinds, and the flop's going to come favorable. It's going to come. Let's say A7 deuce rainbow, A7 deuce flush, A7 deuce flush. We've got ace king. Tell me.
Do we have a suit of the flush draw, or just no unblocking flush draw?
Fucking let's say unblocking. Why not?
Cool. All right.
Yeah. All right. So there's 7.5 bigs in the middle. Maybe 8.5 if there's ante. So let's say 8.5 in the middle. Barry checks to you. What do you do? And tell me your entire thought process.
Okay. Ace high board on a opening late position against the big blind. If he's defending, he's probably going to be defending a very wide range here. So I feel like our range generally wants to just bet a third. I feel like that's what theory would say, and that's kind of what I would be inclined to do on in cash, like 100, 200 blinds deep. I'd probably just bet a third or half pot if I think he's overcalling, and I'd probably just range betting this board texture from these positions.
Terrible answer, but I love it because there's so much to fix.
Okay, great.
Theoretically, you're there, but in reality, like you said, you want to play the player. This ain't it.
Pop this bitch.
Here's how.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's how we're gonna break this down. First, I'm gonna ask you one simple question: what is your opponent's range? And then secondly, I'm gonna ask you a less simple question: what are you gonna do about it? So, what is Barry's range on this board? A7 deuce flush.
Obviously, a lot of whiffs. Could contain a lot of 7x. Maybe he probably has a lot of ace-x offsuit, like weak ace-x offsuit as well. Flush draws. I'd say that's a general. That consists of probably the majority of his range. Whiffs, 7x, flush draws, ace-x.
Yeah, and the odd fucking gut shot or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah.
So, now, I'm going to put you in this mindset with value betting. Don't think about range betting, bluff betting. It's just, we have ace king. We have a hand. We know what our hand is. We don't know what his hand is, so we call it range. This is reality. So what are you going to do about it?
Put the chips in the middle.
Much money. Yeah, you want to put a lot of chips in the middle. So what parts of his range are you going to be addressing when choosing a bet size?
Flush draws and ace-x probably, unless he's going to get really sticky with 7x. But I think we can get a lot of value from ace-x flush draws, obviously.
So now this is going a lot quicker than most people, by the way, just so you know.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a good intuition. Fantastic. Ace-x and flush draws we want to target because they're gonna pay a lot. You know, like Barry ain't fucking defending queen jack with a flush draw and folding to fucking any size. So let's pretend that he's got ace-4 offsuit. Just as a thought experiment here, what's the maximum you think Barry will call? 8.5 in the middle. What do you think the maximum is still?
Probably 9. I don't think he's folding to 9.
Yeah, probably more. Probably
maybe 12. Yeah,
something like that. For him to definitely, he might start getting a little bit suspicious.
For him to think about it, yeah. I feel like he's not folding to 10. He's just flicking in 10.
Yeah, and here's a live poker. Here's a live poker thing. If you can somehow do that by putting in one big chip, it tends to look a lot smaller to Barry than putting in a bunch of smaller chips.
Right.
If you can bet 10k exactly instead of betting 6,800, Barry's fucking happy to throw in those 2 5ks.
Gotcha. Okay.
So when value betting one big chip, you can get away with nonsense over bets quite a lot. So let's pretend that we go, pot, just for the sake of it.
Okay.
Which is already significantly bigger than basically anyone else would, but we've got a rational reason to do it because he's going to call it flush draw and pot.
I like that a lot. Yeah. Okay. I like that so much because I feel like the more that I've been kind of taught theory, it's always just 1/3, always 1/2 pot. And then you look at these mouth breathing idiots and they have all the chips in the early levels. You're like, how the fuck? Yeah. And then you see them just 2x potted on a board that doesn't exist, but they're getting it.
You're like, that's actually, great. Sir, that's actually not a right sizing to use in that spot. And the guy's like, fuck, I want the tournament, dude. Stop talking.
Yeah. He's like, I have 5 rings. What are you talking about?
You're like, actually, my soul was. So here's how we get on the level above Barry, who's just been crushing these things for the last 2 decades. We just think about his range. We think of reality, what is his range and what are we going to do about it? So let's say we bet 8.5 into 8.5. There's now 25.5 in the middle. And the turn is going to come fucking 3. Obviously. He checks to you. What are you going to do? What's your thought process?
I mean, I think this, unless he has ace-3 specifically, I don't think this changes much at all. I think this is one of the best turn cards we could possibly ask for. And I don't think ace-x is still going anywhere. And flush draws, he still might want to see it because guy called off an overbet jam with was just a flush draw. He check called 44k. He called an overbet jam. Check called out of position with just a flush draw. So with just.
Is this the one that you bust when you were running pretty deep?
Yeah, it was for Chipley in the tournament. He ended up winning the fucking tournament.
I remember.
He won the tournament. He ended up winning the tournament.
He deserved it. Yeah, the line is bigger than me.
Yeah, fucking crazy. But yeah, so my thought is this really is one of the best turns we could possibly get. and it doesn't change what he's going to continue with. And then in terms of sizing, I'm curious to what size Barry would call. I mean, is Barry ever folding the pot here, like 25K? He might start to think about it with like ace 4, ace 5.
Well, they have gotchas, maybe like ace 6, ace 8, yeah.
Yeah, sure. We'll just say ace 8, stuff like that. I don't know. In my estimation, I think players like Barry could assume that I'm just trying to bully him off with a flush draw, or bully him off an ace with like absolute air because I'm a young stupid kid who has nothing. I have queen 10 offsuit, dude, and he's like,
you're a 12-year-old,
yeah. I think they start to get close with like a pot size bet.
So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to figure out, first of all, can I go all in? Like, is he just going to pay me off for the 100 big blinds if he has ace 8 here, if he has ace 10 here? Is he just going to pay me off? And that's something that only you can know. Like, you can get a feeling. Is it a rebuy tournament? Yeah. Is he the kind of person that's going to be rebuy? Is he wearing a fucking 20K watch? In which case, probably he's never folding top pair. Yeah. Your own table image. Are you 12 years old? You know, these important questions. Yeah, that's helpful. It's really, I mean, I've had that my entire career.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is where only your intuition can answer the question. But you have a good intuition, so that's important. As long as you're feeding your intuition with the right intellectual processes, then you're improving. And so this is where I'd be thinking, okay, what's the maximum ace 8 will call? Maybe I need to size a little bit down, maybe like 15K on the turn to go like 25K on the river, so we've still got a little bit behind to play with. Or is he the kind of person that's just going to go for stacks?
To watch the rest of this video, this 10 or 12 or 15 part series, Anna really doesn't want to be in this video. She can have a baby, I'm a papa. I don't know how hard he's going to be to teach her. It might be up to 20 part series. Come check out Lee University. There'll be no extra fee on top of the elite membership, or the super elites will have access to it as well. Hope you enjoyed it. All the love. She's so gorgeous. I don't know what she's doing. All the love. See you guys.